Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tea Stop Tea Time. We got our tea today.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, and we're actually at Banjo Coffee, which you can kind of see back here.
In the background.
We are in Avondale Estates in Georgia. This is, and the day could not be better. So we decided let's do this podcast outside.
Yeah, it is an amazing fall day. It's like 60-degree weather. I wish Georgia was like this all the time.
I know, it'd be
would
great.
Be great.
And don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful place to film, but
time.
sometimes the weather does get a little crazy.
Yeah, very, very crazy. Well, what tea are you drinking today, Marco?
So this is hibiscus. I think it's called Farmer's Market. It's a really, really nice blend. It's herbal tea. As Anthony knows, me and caffeine are not the best of friends.
Oh, yeah. He's already wired naturally. He don't need no more help.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to see that. All right, so what do you got?
And I have a ruby spiced ginger tea from Tivana, which no longer has brick and mortar stores. You can still get their tea online, but yeah, they make really, really good tea. So if you haven't had any of the Tivana teas, I highly suggest getting some.
Yeah, they're really good. So I definitely second that. So. And of course, I got mine from here at Banjo Coffee.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a few things to talk about. We got mobile shooting apps, which I know you're a big fan of.
Yep.
We got anamorphic lenses.
Head first into the mobile filmmaking.
That's right. You're diving all into it, so It's great. We've got accessories for mobile filmmaking. We've got camera apps. These are apps to control your camera. We got the most ridiculous camera ever made. We have
18K.
Why? We have updates to the GoPro. We have the V35 lenses, which is really interesting, so I can't wait to get into that. And we're going to be talking about the Sony FX3 used on the big blockbuster movie, The Creator.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
Sweet.
Take it away, Tony. What do we got on this?
Right into
this
it.
new Blackmagic app.
Yeah, so Blackmagic released the app a little bit ago, completely for free, basically turning your phone. I believe right now it's just for iPhone. I don't know if they'll make an Android version later on down the line or not. Who knows? But basically turning your iPhone into a full-fledged production camera, giving you full manual control over things like white balance, shutter speed,
and time
ISO,
code.
Time code, yes.
Because they have it right here, Tentacle Sync E.
Exactly, yeah. And that's actually in the new 1.1 update that they just released a couple days ago. You can plug in wireless.
I'm blown away because
they
really intend this to be used as part of a production setup, especially if you're going to be recording time code.
Exactly, yeah. It's just becoming more and more viable for people to use their iPhones as their main camera for whatever production they want to use. Yeah. And another big update that they just released was support for the Tilta Nucleus Nano and the Nucleus M wireless follow focus system.
Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. You're like, why would you want to pull focus on a smartphone? Well, anybody that's ever operated, whether it's you're using a Sony Venice or an Arri Alexa 65 or whatever, if you're the operator, you tend to be completely focused on that frame. You don't want to be distracted by pressing little focus marks here and there, even though you can obviously adjust the focus by touching on the screen, because they always show that in the promo videos. But anybody that's actually operated a camera knows
you're not going to be focused on
right, exactly.
Then you'd be focused on moving the camera.
It's better to leave that to somebody else. So actually having that functionality is pretty good. Now, what I don't know is how that other person is going to actually see the image.
Well, the thing is they have also HDMI video out from this app as well, so you can send a signal to. I don't know how ridiculous you want to be. Yeah,
right.
You can send it to a tear deck or whatever.
I want to see those setups. I really want to see those setups. So, I used to make fun of the Arri Mini because I used to think it was so silly that you take this basic camera and then add all this stuff. By the time you add all that stuff, you basically created a Arri Alexa.
It's like they take the mini, because I worked at a rental house for 3 years, so I've seen all sorts of setups, and it's like it was like, yeah, we want the Alexa Mini, we want the Mini, and it's like, okay, cool. So what my understanding of the Mini was when they made it or when they designed it, it was like, this is going to be a small compact camera that they can put on a drones or a B cam or crash cam or whatever.
Right.
But people get it, and they kit it out to where it's just as heavy, or if not heavier, than just a regular Alexa.
So I am curious to see what these rigs are going to be like if you have a smartphone with a transmitter and lens attachments, which we'll get to in a second, and all the other crazy accessories. It's gonna.
It's getting to the point where
it's gonna get a little silly.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now where before it was just this is convenient. I have a phone in my pocket that shoots pretty good video. Oh, I may add a little cheap lens, or I can do this little setting that will make it enhance a little bit. But now it's like, no, I'm pulling this phone out, but I'm putting it in this cage with this big thing and this big microphone and this tripod legs, and it becomes a full camera at that point. It's no longer convenience sake. It's just another professional camera to use at that point.
It can get really silly really fast.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that's just a few of the updates that came within this 1.1 change. Yeah.
So give us some use case scenarios, because I guess some people are because we're going to talk about Apple Log and Havoc and all that. So as far as the recording codecs, you do have the same flexibility that you would with like FX3 or other mirrorless cameras. And that obviously expands the dynamic range and the color information that is available when you're post-processing. But in your opinion, what would this be used for? Because I think this is still sort of a very new tool that most people would probably be hesitant about using on any major production.
So you're saying like the Blackmagic camera app in general, or just like some of the new features?
Smartphone, or smartphone and mobile cinematography, as you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, the thing that I am mostly using it for right now, because like I said, I'm still brand new and I'm still figuring out what I like to use it for, is travel videos and stuff, because I like to travel. In about less than a month here, me and my fiance,
congratulations, by the way,
who will be my wife after that. Our honeymoon is in Portugal, so I'm definitely going to take my phone with all the stuff so I can get the best quality I can, because that's just, from what I've seen from other people, it's amazing. I'm taking my drones, of course. I'm taking my drones.
And then he's not going anywhere without his drones.
Exactly.
In fact, there's one here on the table.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so that's the first use case scenario for me is travel. So I don't want to go full bore with the big cage and all this, that, and the other, because I still want to be able to move quickly and like set up and tear down, and also I don't want to cause a big
you don't call attention to yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to call attention to myself with this big thing, honking thing around. I also have DJI Osmo Mobile 6, which is it's a gimbal I can put in my pocket. So that's where I'm going. I can put it in my pocket, the phone goes in my pocket.
I think you actually brought up what I think is probably the best use case for this, which is YouTubers. Like I've seen entire YouTube 40-minute episodes that are shot on GoPros, and a GoPro and a smartphone actually have, I would say, pretty similar quality in terms of lens choice, because of, but obviously a smartphone has more lens choices, plus with the accessories.
Nowadays they do. Yep.
Well, I mean, even with just the arrangement.
Just the arrangement of the built-in lenses. Yeah.
But we're going to talk about some additional lens choices that you have now. So it's like taking what you could do with a GoPro up a notch. Plus, you can even get underwater housings for smartphones, which I have one, and it's amazing to just be able to, because I don't need to spend $7,000 on an FX3 case or $60,000 for Sony Venice case, right?
Wait, just for the case?
Just for the case, yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Admittedly, it is universal, so you can put an Arri Mini or a Sony Venice or a FX9 or something in there. But still, it's $60,000. So
yeah.
But you can do that with a smartphone, and it's going to cost you a couple $100 for a good one.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about putting it in a bag. I mean, like a decent underwater hard case. So, so having the ability to do this type of recording and lens choices available makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And it opens possibility for getting the camera in situations and in places where we weren't able to do it in the past.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like drones, just like FPV drones. You now can put this thing in places where you never thought. I mean, I can fly it here, right under here, and get a cool shot going.
You really can, actually. He was trying to show a producer what he could do with this thing, and I think he dared him to like fly through this really little.
Yeah, it was like a cart. It was like the handle of like one of these little push carts or whatever. It's like a bitch can't fly through that. It was like a 2x3 open or whatever. It was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and he did it. He just flew right through it. He's like, all right. You know what? Let me get your number.
Yeah.
but yeah.
The fact that you can put these cameras now pretty much anywhere and get any angle that you see fit is pretty amazing nowadays, and have it be good quality. Because that's the main takeaway is that the camera phones, even if we like it or not, the cameras on phones are getting better and better and better. So it's now become more and more viable to use your camera phone to shoot good quality stuff.
Like really good quality. I believe it's not really pointed out in here, but the AI part of shooting, which comes in both Android and Apple, I don't think is available on the on this particular Blackmagic app. But again, you probably don't want that anyway because when you're shooting for real, you want manual control.
Yeah, you want as most manual control as you can, so you can have the image look how you want it to look when you want it to look.
Right. Yeah. So it is going to look different from your regular footage if you use the built-in app. Because again, it turns off all that AI processing.
Yeah.
But what you do get, I think, especially if you're using this as a production camera of any kind, or even like Anthony mentioned, as a travel camera, then you know, it's hard to beat.
Very, very hard to beat, and especially when you mix in the likes of Apple Log that they just released on the new iPhone 15.
And this is really going to give action cameras, I think, a run for their money.
Yeah.
Mirrorless cameras and obviously other kind of large sensor cameras, there's still going to be. It's still not there yet, but I don't think it's really trying to compete with those cameras as much as the hype will sometimes suggest they are.
Yeah.
I know. Trying to put my glasses on with these headphones.
All right.
But all right, so let's talk about lenses since we're on that topic. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
So this is something you're really excited about.
Yeah.
We have one right here.
Moving right along. Yeah. So along with the apps that they have, the professional apps, they now have, and have had for a couple of years now, professional lenses. And as you see right here in front, they also have anamorphic lenses.
And this one is from SmallRig.
Yes, from SmallRig.
So for $100, you get an anamorphic lens.
Yeah, anamorphic for your iPhone or for your any phone is universal. But the fact that, and the thing to me is that we're so used to, because I said there are so many people with phones shooting with phones now that you become not necessarily numb, but you've become accustomed to knowing what phone footage looks like.
That's true. That's true.
That would be one of the main reasons you would want to add on different lenses on top of what's already there, just to kind of differentiate yourself, or just to give your footage that extra sense of flair. And anamorphics, which don't get me wrong here, but I believe they used to be exclusively for high-end movie projects and all that way back in the day. They were
so
very
originally when they
expensive.
came out, what was happening in the industry was television. This Anamorphics came out really around the 1950s. Television was starting to pick up steam, and movies prior to that were shot in the 4:3 aspect ratio, which was the original television format.
Yeah, the square format.
Right, which we have Edison to thank for that.
Yeah.
So movie companies are trying to figure out how to compete with television, and one thing they did was they introduced color, but the other thing that they did was they introduced a wider format to give people a more immersive experience. Shortly after, of course, they'd start experimenting with 3D, and so they went really crazy with like Cinerama, which I think was like 180 degree screen or something. Obviously, some of you probably remember OmniMax, which came later, of course. The IMAX format in general was part of that, where they're trying to bring people back into the theater, and one way they did it was so anyway, big epic films were usually shot on Anamorphic, so that's where that tradition comes from.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing that to the smartphone. So Anamorphics have some pretty interesting qualities. Some people describe it as being a little bit more intimate because of the way it creates separation between your foreground and background subjects. There obviously is a really curved focal plane, which makes things pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, you get the wider aspect ratio. The bokeh, used to be a telltale where you used to see little oval bokeh balls instead of the spherical ones.
Yeah.
If you're into that, some people are obsessed with it. Yeah.
Well, some people have like bokeh shapes that you'll put a shape in front or behind the lens in front of the sensor, and it actually will give your bokeh any shape you want, like a star or a dog or whatever you want, if you're into that.
If you're into that, I've been wanting to actually play around with that because there's a couple of lenses like the Ingenue lens where you can add different filter effects in the backplane so that you can get those really weird shapes. You could also actually put it in the front of your lens. That'll affect the shape of your bokeh as well. But for those of you who want to try something fun, I definitely recommend doing that. It is hilarious. But you can do some very good, cool storytelling stuff with it too.
But what is the number one most recognized not effect, but quality or aspect of an anamorphic lens?
Oh, I'm gonna say it's the
no, not the widescreen. What is J.J. Abrams famous for?
The flares. Flares. That's right. So we're gonna talk about your flare now. And I think Tony will be putting some test footage up here. But this lens does have the anamorphic flare that you can. It's that in itself is kind of insane that you're getting that on a smartphone.
Yeah. Anamorphic flares, the super cinescope aspect ratio, and again, like I said, it just ups your cell phone footage to the next level, which just sets you apart if you're trying to put stuff out there.
Yeah, and I think we're at that age where we can say, like, if you want to produce content, there's almost no excuse to say you can't do it because you don't have this tool or that tool. There are so many tools out there, and actually, even on your setup here, excuse me, you have a even on your smartphone setup that you have here, you have the Rode Wireless Me attached to it. And this is such a small setup.
Yep, this will get you right here, full cinema quality, handle, lens, good quality audio, and that's all you need.
Now
you have again, it may not be a real camera, as some people say, but again, what is a real camera today?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything that takes an image and gets you a good quality image, to me, is a real camera. So, yeah.